Hey guys, Sheri Richerson from Experimental Homesteader, Exotic Gardening, SheriRicherson.com, and biannualblog.com. Welcome to our daily vlog. Are you in a panic about the coronavirus or about the store shelves being wiped out of supplies? I hope you're not. I feel like a lot of people are so used to their lifestyle of being able to go to the store when they want, buy what they want, and having fully stocked store shelves. I know in a lot of parts of the country, it is not warm enough yet to garden. But even if you're in a colder climate like here in Indiana, USDA zone 5-6, depending on who you ask and which heat zone map you pay attention to, the old one or the new one. It is possible to start some crops outside under a cold frame. Things like lettuce, any of your cool weather crops, you can definitely get in the ground right now and get them going. You do need to use a cold frame, and whether you buy a cold frame or you make a cold frame out of tomato cages, wood, cow panels, whatever you can come up with, and cover it with some 6 mil plastic, it is possible to do this. The important thing is that you make sure the plastic is tight to the ground. And this is easy. Just lay some bricks, some wood, or something on top of it, just so the wind can't pick it up. And if it's a really warm day outside, you need to vent it. But you want to close that vent down by about 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, because you want to build up some heat inside to keep things warm overnight. Now, I use an extra layer inside of mine of frost cover. And if you can't find frost cover, you could use just 2 layers of plastic. 6 mil plastic is available at most of the big box stores in a roll. It's about $22, so it's not going to break the bank. And like I said, you can use wood to build a frame. You can use tomato cages if you have those, just whatever you have on hand. It doesn't have to be fancy. As long as you can plant and get in to get your crops, that's the only thing that matters. A walk-in one is a lot nicer, but again, if you don't have the means to do that, don't worry about it. Do what you have the means to do. So that's one way to have some fresh produce right now, that you know how it's been grown and what's going on with it. Another way is to do it indoors under lights. The aerial gardens or just flat plain grow lights. And if you don't have a grow light and you can't afford one, and they are pretty reasonable now if you get the screw-in grow lights that go into the normal light fixtures, you can go out to your local farm store and you can buy one of the clip-on lights that they use for livestock. They might also use these in garages and stuff, but they're just a clip-on light that you can put a light bulb in, and you can use those screw-in type grow lights if you want, or you can use fluorescent lights. You want one light from the cool spectrum and one light from the hot or from the warm spectrum, if that's what you're going to do. There's so many different ways that you can do this and still have some crops growing and have some fresh food that you don't have to worry about. Another thing is, I don't want people to forget, if you have chicken or turkey or any kind of meat with bones on it, do not throw those bones away. You can save those bones and you can roast them in the oven a little bit, or even not roast them if you don't want to. And you could cover them with water and simmer that for a couple hours up to overnight. You can do this in an Instant Pot if you have one of those. Takes 2.5 hours in the Instant Pot. You can throw those bones in a crock pot, cover them with water, and let that simmer all day or even overnight if you want. You could do it on a stovetop, however it is that you need to do it, and that's a good way to make bone broth. if you have flour and water and egg and yeast and those kind of things, you can make your own noodles, you can make your own dumplings, you can make your own bread. So there's lots of ways to not do without things. You can usually find a way to make things like, I saw a baking soda substitute. I haven't tried it. I have seen how to make yeast at home. If you don't have a way to go to the store and buy yeast, there are pancake mixes and Jiffy biscuit mixes that you can make at home completely from scratch. So just because you can't go to the store and buy it doesn't mean that you need to panic or do without it. It simply means that you need to see if there's another way to create that. Now, that's not going to do any good for, quick microwave foods or something like that. Because you obviously, if you can make those at home, I don't know how, besides actually doing the cooking and preparing your own TV dinners. But maybe now's a good time, if you don't know how to cook from scratch, to learn how to do that. It's a good skill to have. There are all kinds of recipes online, many of them free. I have recipes on my own site, experimentalhomesteader.com. And you can go there and you can check out some of those recipes. You can, obviously just Google or search for whatever recipe you might want. And there's going to be, a number of them that you're going to be able to find. And if you're quarantined at home anyway, whether it's a self-quarantine or an imposed quarantine, you have time to learn some of these skills. And believe me, they will be useful. For those who are not quarantined yet, excuse me, I got a tickle in my throat. For those who are not quarantined yet and who still have stores that don't have empty shelves, and this is interesting to me because we don't even have a case here in the county, but our stores have empty shelves. So for those of you that can still get out and get supplies, try not to hoard things. I know that it's tempting, but think about other people that might be living paycheck to paycheck and might only be able to buy their supplies once a week or once every 2 weeks when they get paid. And for Pete's sake, if you've got the money to buy extra, and you do, or you're well stocked up, like a lot of people are, don't price gouge people if they, come to your door and are out of toilet paper or end up on social media asking for toilet paper. I fully understand getting your money back. I can even understand, charging a little gas if you have to deliver it to them. But think about how you would feel if it was you needing something and they had it and they wanted an unrealistic price for it. You wouldn't be too happy. So, I think kindness to one another and thinking of how one another feels. And if we have plenty of surplus, sharing with other people that are in need during this time is going to go a long way to making life a little bit easier. I know so many people are disappointed because things have been canceled and life is changing. In my opinion, things may not go back to the way they ever were after this is over. I could be wrong. But I think this is going to give a lot of people food for thought. I think a lot of these big organizations that are losing money right now because we're not having the sports playoffs, we're not having the concerts, I think that they're going to rethink the way that they're doing things. And I might be very, very wrong. But things are changing. The coronavirus has happened. And I think it's going to make people think a little more about what could happen in the future. And they're going to realize the impact of this, and they're going to think about, if this happens again, we want to be prepared. So maybe now is the time to change things up and do things a little bit differently, so there won't be a next time. Again, just my 2 cents. Anyway, guys, please subscribe, thumbs up, thumbs down, comments below. Thanks for watching, and have a great night.